The room was a mess, cameras still rolling. Barron Trump's face was wet with tears, his chest rising fast. He'd just slammed his mic down so hard it bounced off the desk. Stephen Colbert stood across from him, not blinking, not moving, just staring. Cold, sharp. The crowd was split, half screaming, some filming, others just frozen in shock. Some were laughing, some were yelling, phones up, lights everywhere. You could hear people shouting things like, "He's done," and "Trump's boy crumbled." The internet caught fire in seconds. Clips posted with titles like "Live Meltdown" and "Colbert broke him." Everyone saw it, everyone shared it, millions of views already pouring in. But none of it made sense unless you saw what happened. Before this, before the tears, before the mic slam, before Colbert dropped the line that made Barron break. This wasn't just a bad interview. It was a total collapse, and it all happened live. No cuts, no do-overs. So how did it all go so wrong? Let's rewind to the start. When the news dropped that Barron Trump would be on The Late Show, it felt like something big was about to happen. He rarely shows up anywhere, let alone on live TV. No interviews, no podcasts, no panels, nothing. So when Colbert's team confirmed it, people started talking right away. This wasn't going to be some soft little chat. Not with Colbert, not with the way he talks about the Trump family. Insiders say even the show's own producers were nervous. One of them was overheard saying, "This isn't a safe sit-down, it's Colbert." They knew how fast he could flip the tone, how sharp he could get with his jokes. And now, the youngest Trump was walking straight into that. The night of the taping, the room was packed. Everyone was waiting to see what version of Barron would show up. Would he be calm? Would he fight back? Would he even speak at all? Then the stage doors opened, and there he was. Tall, quiet, dressed sharp. Not smiling, not nervous, just focused. You could feel something in the air shift. He didn't wave. He didn't joke. He just walked out and took his seat across from Colbert like he'd been preparing for this moment. His expression was hard to read. It wasn't fear. It wasn't pride. It was something colder, like he knew he was walking into a storm and didn't care. The crowd clapped, but it wasn't loud, more like a cautious welcome. Everyone could feel the tension already building, and Barron hadn't said a word yet. The lights softened, the music faded, and Colbert leaned forward with his usual smile. At first it seemed normal. He welcomed Barron, made a harmless joke about how tall he'd gotten, and cracked something about how strange it was to finally see him speak in public. Barron nodded, gave a short smile. Nothing more. The first few seconds felt calm, almost too calm. But anyone who knows Colbert knew it wouldn't last. He didn't do quiet for long. Then came the first real hit. Colbert tilted his head, squinted a little, and said, "So, are you here to build your own name or just cashing in on Daddy's brand?" He said it with that smirk of his, the one that's half joke, half knife. The room reacted right away. Some people laughed, some winced. You could hear a few gasps. Even the camera guy jerked slightly like he wasn't expecting it that early. But Barron didn't blink. He sat up straighter, met Colbert's eyes, and said, "I'm here for my future, not your sound bites." His voice was calm, steady, no shaking. He didn't even raise it. That reply hit just as hard. You could feel the audience split right there. Some people clapped. A few people muttered under their breath. Colbert raised an eyebrow, clearly surprised, maybe even a little impressed. But that didn't slow him down. It only made him lean in. Barron sat back in his chair, still collected, but the energy was shifting. You could feel it. The crowd wasn't just watching anymore. They were locked in, waiting to see who'd swing next. The soft start was over. The first line had been crossed. Now it was a game of who could keep control longer and who would crack first. Colbert leaned back in his chair, acting casual, but everyone could see it coming. He signaled the control room, and a video rolled on the screen behind them. It was a clip from a recent Trump rally. Barron standing tall next to his father, expression still, arms crossed, not saying a word. The lights from cameras flashed around him. He didn't flinch, just stood there like a statue. The clip lasted. Barely 15 seconds, but the room got quiet. Then Colbert turned to him with that smirk again and said, "That look, vintage Trump, stoic or silent?" The line hit hard, the kind of line that's meant to poke, not just joke. The audience let out a weird mix of reactions. Some laughed nervously, others sat still. Barron didn't flinch. He kept his voice calm and shot back, "It's discipline, not silence. I earned this seat." No smile, no attitude. Just facts, like he'd practiced saying it 100 times before stepping on stage. Colbert smiled again, but this time there was something colder in his eyes. "You didn't earn it," he said. "You inherited it." That one landed even heavier. The whole studio shifted. You could hear a few people go oof under their breath. Some clapped. Some didn't know how to react. Barron blinked, but didn't break. He sat straighter, lips tight, jaw clenched, just a little. Tension was rising now. Not pretend, not staged. Real tension. The kind you feel in your chest. The audience didn't know if they were supposed to laugh or stay quiet. People looked around at each other, unsure what came next. It wasn't funny anymore. It was real. Personal. Colbert wasn't pulling back. And Barron, despite everything, still looked like he was ready to keep going. The camera stayed close on both faces, switching back and forth. Every little reaction mattered now, every smirk, every breath, every glance. It wasn't just a talk show anymore, it was turning into something else, a live test, a challenge, and nobody in that room knew how far it was about to go. Barron was still trying to keep calm, but something shifted. His answer came slower this time. His voice, just for a second, wasn't as steady. Not loud, not shaky, but there was something in it. A small crack, and Colbert saw it. He didn't wait. He jumped right in, sharp as ever. "Your story's built on marble floors, not concrete fights," he said, his tone cool, like he'd been saving that line the whole night. It wasn't a question. It was a punch. Barron's jaw moved just a little, like he was clenching it. He looked at Colbert straight in the eyes and said, "You don't know my story." He didn't yell it. He didn't even raise his voice. But it cut through the room in a way that made people sit up. You could feel the shift. This wasn't just back and forth anymore. This was real now. Barron wasn't brushing things off, he was pushing back. People in the crowd started reacting out loud. Some clapped, some gasped. A few people shouted, "Let him speak," while others laughed nervously. Phones were already out. Cameras recording. Producers watching from the side, not sure if they should step in or let it ride. The energy in the room was messy, loud, unpredictable. Colbert didn't ease up. He leaned forward, smirk still on his face, and said, "Go. On then. Tell it. What fights have you had? Which struggle made you strong?" It wasn't just sarcasm anymore. It was personal. He was calling him out in front of millions. Barron leaned forward too now, both hands on his knees like he was ready to explain something, or explode. "You think just because I have money, I've never dealt with anything real?" His voice was louder now, still controlled but tight. "You think growing up in that house was easy? You think being dragged through the media before I could drive was fun?" The crowd reacted hard to that one. Some clapped. Some were quiet. One person even shouted, "Let him cook." The hashtag Dr. Barron vs. Colbert had already started trending online. Clips of the moment were being posted in real time. Barron Speaks Up was already hitting 1 million views on X. Colbert didn't reply right away. For a split second, he looked like he might back off. But then he tilted his head and smiled again like he was enjoying it too much to stop. "Everyone's got problems," he said, "but not everyone gets a seat handed to them just for having the right last name." That hit hard. Barron looked down for half a second, just half. When he looked back up, something was different in his eyes. Not anger, not fear. Just a quiet kind of hurt. He was still in it. still holding on. But the cracks were showing, and the night wasn't even close to over. Colbert wasn't holding back anymore. The moment he noticed Barron was starting to crack, he leaned in harder. His voice got sharper, his tone less playful. He didn't ask questions now. He threw lines like jabs. "You give speeches like a robot," he said. "Every word sounds like it was written by someone trying not to upset Daddy." The crowd stirred. Laughter from one side, silence from the other, then he kept going. "The Trump brand must be exhausting. Smile for the camera, say nothing, stand tall, look important. Rinse, repeat." Barron's face didn't move at first, but both of his fists were now clenched, resting on his knees, his shoulders stiff. He didn't cut in, didn't shout. He waited, then said clearly, "I've faced more than you know." His voice was stronger than before, but tight, like it was holding something back. Colbert smiled again, but it wasn't warm. It was the kind of smile that said he saw the weakness and was ready to push. "Faced what exactly?" he said. "A broken nail or a broken system?" The crowd broke into noise. Gasps, laughs, people shouting "yo" and "chill" from the back rows. It wasn't funny anymore, it was something else. People weren't sure if they should be watching it or stopping it. Barron's jaw locked. He didn't blink. His breathing had changed, faster now. His whole body looked tight, like he was either going to stand up or explode. The cameras stayed close. You could hear everything. The quiet moments felt louder than the shouting. Backstage producers were panicking. A few of them were talking through headsets, calling for a cut. One whispered, "We've got to stop this." But Colbert waved them off. He wasn't done. He knew what he was doing, and he knew the world was watching. Every second was content. Every reaction was fuel. Someone in the audience shouted, "Let him speak." Another yelled, "This ain't it, Colbert." But the host just kept his eyes on Barron. He wasn't smiling now. He was studying him, watching every little twitch, every pause. Barron hadn't cried. Not yet. But he was close. And everyone could feel it. What started as an interview was now a slow public unraveling. And no one, not the crew, not the crowd, not even Barron, could pull the brakes. Barron had been holding it together for as long as he could. His body was tense. His hands still clenched, his breathing louder now. You could tell something was about to snap. Then Colbert said something about how being born into the spotlight doesn't mean you belong there. And that's when Barron finally shouted back, "You're the clown, not me." His voice echoed across the stage. It wasn't clean. It cracked, halfway through, like it was breaking under the weight of everything he'd been holding in. His hand slammed down on the desk in front of him, loud enough to make someone in the audience jump. Colbert didn't even flinch. He just smiled, slow and cold, and delivered the line that crossed the final line. "You're not your own man," he said. "You're a legacy, a last name in a suit. That's all." He didn't say it loud, but it hit like a slap. The kind of line that doesn't need volume to hurt. Everything went quiet for a second. Even the audience. No clapping, no gasping. Just this strange stillness. Barron's head dropped just slightly. He blinked once, then again. His eyes were glassy. You could see it happening in real time, the part where whatever wall he'd built started to crack. A tear slid down his cheek. He wiped it fast, like he didn't want anyone to notice. But everyone already had. The cameras didn't cut. No one said stop. The red lights were still on. The feed was still live. Barron looked straight ahead for a second like he wasn't even sure what to do. Then, without saying anything, he ripped off his mic, threw it across the desk, and stood up. The sound of the mic hitting the wood echoed louder than anything else. That night, someone in the crowd said, "Damn," under their breath. A few people stood up, unsure whether to cheer or just leave. Barron didn't say another word. He turned and walked off, fast but not running. Just enough to show he wanted out. The camera followed him for a few steps before switching back to Colbert, who was still sitting there, quiet, expression unreadable. The empty chair sat in the middle of the screen, the mic still lying on the desk. No music. No jokes. Just silence, heavy and sharp. The moment was broken. And now so was Barron. The moment Barron storms off the set, there's a tense silence. Security rushes in, trying to make sense of the chaos that just unfolded. The crowd in the studio is split right down the middle. Some are chanting "cruel," while others shout "Colbert." The energy in the room is electric, the kind of moment that feels like everything is about to explode. The camera quickly cuts to an empty chair where Barron was just sitting. The live feed, which had been so chaotic only moments ago, now feels awkward and hollow with his sudden disappearance. Smirk. He looks directly at the camera, his voice dripping with sarcasm as he casually drops the line. "That's how you fold a Trump." It's a remark that lands, cutting through the silence with just the right amount of humor and sharpness. The crowd's reaction is mixed. Some laugh nervously, others are still in shock, but everyone feels the weight of what just happened. The camera lingers for a moment, unsure of what will happen next, and the audience at home is left to wonder if the show can ever recover from this kind of shockwave. The entire scene is a perfect blend of drama, tension, and that Colbert wit, making it one for the history books. The fallout from the showdown spreads fast online. X, formerly Twitter, lights up with trending hashtags like Trump crybaby and Josh Colbert broke him. People can't stop talking about what just happened. TikTok blows up too, filled with edits, remixes, and reactions to the wild moment. Creators quickly turn the incident into a viral sensation, adding their own spin on the chaos. Barron tries to take control of the narrative by posting a message, "I'll rise above." But the replies are brutal, with people throwing shade and mocking him. The internet has no mercy. Memes flood every corner of social media, and they're quick to hit Barron where it hurts. Some meme captions read things like "built like daddy" or "baby Trump meltdown," playing off the moment and his father's persona. The internet doesn't hold back, and soon everyone's seen the same clips, heard the same jokes, and shared the same reactions. It's a viral storm, and Barron's attempt to rise above it only seems to fuel the fire. The online world has turned the whole thing into a joke, and there's no escaping it. The next night, Colbert wastes no time. As soon as he steps on stage, he delivers a punchline. He came in strong. He left in tears. The audience bursts into laughter, and you can feel the tension in the room from the moment the joke lands. Colbert doesn't stop there, teasing that there's a part 2 to come. The crowd is electric, already guessing what might happen next. As the show goes on, the narrator's voice cuts in, giving the story a final, lingering question. Barron's fall went viral. But is this the end, or just the start? It's a perfect cliffhanger, leaving everyone wondering whether this meltdown is just a blip or the beginning of something much bigger. The final twist leaves us all hanging, and the drama is far from over. If you thought this clash was wild, just wait. It's far from over. There's so much more to come, and you won't want to miss what happens next. Smash that subscribe button, hit the bell, and stay tuned. The drama's just getting started.